The mansion lights glowed like a palace against the dark Los Angeles sky. Brandon Sterling, a smug white billionaire in his mid-50s, leaned back in his chair, swirling whiskey in a crystal glass. He grinned at his guests. "Tonight," he said, "I've invited my driver's kid to play poker with us. Should be entertaining." Laughter echoed around the marble room. Outside, Marcus Washington, a hard-working black driver, fixed his tie nervously while his 12-year-old son Jamal straightened his small blazer. The boy's calm eyes had a sharp mind. "Dad," he asked softly, "you think he invited us because he wants to be nice?" Marcus sighed. "Son, men like him don't invite people like us unless they want a show. But we'll go. We need to keep our dignity, no matter what game he's playing." Inside, Brandon raised an eyebrow when he saw them. "Marcus, you actually came. And this must be your boy." His tone dripped with fake politeness. "Don't worry, Jamal. It's just for fun. Maybe you'll learn how real money works." The guests chuckled again. Marcus forced a smile, his jaw tight. Jamal stayed silent, studying the glittering table, the cards, the arrogant faces. As Brandon dealt the first hand, he leaned toward one of his friends. "Let's see if the kid even knows how to count." They laughed again. Jamal heard it, but he said nothing. He watched carefully, the rhythm of Brandon's hands, the way his eyes darted toward his chips every time he bluffed. He noticed everything. When Marcus looked down, ashamed, Jamal placed a small hand on his father's arm. "It's okay, Dad," he whispered. "He doesn't know what kind of math I've been studying." That night, a quiet storm was forming at that poker table, a storm that would turn humiliation into poetic justice. If this already made your blood boil, hit like and subscribe right now, because stories like this are still happening and the world needs to hear them. Marcus exhaled slowly. "We'll play, sir," he said. Brandon smirked. "Excellent. Let's make this interesting." The cards were shuffled. The bets were placed. And a racist billionaire was about to learn that intelligence, dignity, and courage could never be bought. The night shimmered with wealth. Chandeliers dripped from the ceiling, and gold-framed paintings of old money ancestors stared down at the poker table like silent judges. Brandon Sterling's mansion didn't just display money, it bragged about it. Marcus stood behind his son's chair, uncomfortable in his faded suit. The other players, 3 white men in tailored tuxedos and 1 woman wearing diamonds the size of grapes, glanced at them with polite disgust. "Don't be nervous, Jamal," Brandon said, his grin wide and sharp. "Just remember, poker's about instinct, not those school numbers you're so proud of." Jamal smiled faintly. "Yes, sir, but numbers help." Brandon chuckled. "You'll see soon enough." The first hand began. Cards flicked across the table. Brandon leaned back like a king on his throne. 50 to call," he said. Jamal hesitated, then counted his chips carefully. "Call." The woman, Brooke, gave a condescending smile. "Oh, how adorable." He's counting every chip like it's his allowance. Jamal didn't look up. The flop came. King of hearts, 7 of spades, 2 of clubs. Brandon's smirk grew. He bet big, too big. Jamal studied him silently for 3 seconds, then called. Turn card, ace of diamonds. The others folded. Only Jamal and Brandon remained. Brandon pushed his chips forward. All in. The room grew quiet. Even the waiters froze. Marcus swallowed hard. It was clear Brandon expected his son to fold, to quit like a scared child. But Jamal said calmly, "I call." Brooke's mouth fell open. "He's calling? Oh, this will be cute." Brandon flipped his cards. King and queen. Top pair, kid. Welcome to the real world. Jamal turned his cards slowly. Ace and 7. Gasps filled the room. Jamal's voice was soft but steady. 2 pair beats 1. Brandon's smirk vanished. The dealer confirmed it. Jamal pushed the mountain of chips toward his side, his small fingers steady. "Beginner's luck," Brandon muttered, forcing a laugh that sounded brittle. "Let's keep going." Marcus felt a sting behind his eyes. Pride, fear, disbelief all at once. He leaned toward his son and whispered, "Where'd you learn that?" Jamal's eyes never left the table. "From watching people, Dad." Numbers are easy. People are harder. The laughter in the room had died. Respect hadn't appeared yet, but curiosity had. The boy they invited to humiliate was quietly turning the table. The next few rounds turned tense. Brandon's poker night, once full of laughter and arrogance, was now wrapped in silence. The billionaires watched a 12-year-old dismantle their confidence one hand at a time. Brooke tried to lighten the mood. "Sweetheart, you're doing great. Maybe one day you'll work in finance," she said, her tone syrupy but sharp. Jamal looked at her politely. "Finance depends on understanding risk, ma'am. I'm just calculating odds." The room chuckled awkwardly, but the truth in his voice stung harder than any joke. Brandon's jaw flexed. "You think you're smarter than everyone here, boy?" Jamal didn't flinch. "No, sir. I just think the math doesn't care who's rich." Marcus froze. He wanted to stop his son, protect him, but the words had already landed. A few guests exchanged uncomfortable glances. The racial tension in the air was suddenly unmistakable. Brandon forced a smirk. "Then let's see what your math says about this." He snapped for another deck, one sealed in gold foil. Fresh cards, real stakes, $100 a hand. Marcus stepped forward. "Sir, that's too much." Brandon raised a hand. "Marcus, relax. I'll cover the boys' bets. Let's make it fun." Jamal's gaze stayed on the cards. "No need, sir. I brought my own." He slid a small envelope across the table. His saved allowance, barely a few $100s. The guests whispered. Brandon's smirk returned. "Fine. Let's play." The dealer began again. Brandon opened strong. 2 kings. Jamal's face was unreadable. The flop came. Queen Jack 10. Dangerous board. Brandon bet heavy. 500, he said smugly. Jamal counted silently. "Call." The turn card. An ace. The table gasped. Jamal checked. Brandon shoved all his chips forward. "All in." Marcus whispered, "Son, fold." Jamal's hand didn't tremble. "No, Dad. I know what he's doing." He flipped his cards, king and 9, straight to the ace. The dealer announced it cleanly. Straight. Player wins. Brandon's friends sat in stunned silence. One finally muttered, "Is this kid for real?" Brandon's face flushed crimson. "You cheated." "No, sir," Jamal said quietly. "You blink when you bluff. It's hard not to notice." The room erupted, half in laughter, half in disbelief. Brandon slammed his glass down, whiskey splattering across the green felt. The boy had turned humiliation into dominance, and the billionaire couldn't stand it. If this happened right in front of you, what would you do? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. And if you want justice as much as I do, hit subscribe. The sound of poker chips echoed through the silent room. Brandon leaned forward, eyes cold, voice dripping venom. "Let's make this simple, kid. You and me, one-on-one. No pity, no excuses. You wanted to play with grown-ups. Prove it." Marcus stepped closer. "Sir, he's just a child." Brandon snapped. "Then he shouldn't be sitting at my table." Jamal looked up at his father, calm as ever. "Dad, it's okay. I can handle one more hand." Marcus's throat tightened. "Son, this isn't about cards anymore." "I know," Jamal said quietly. "It's about respect." The guests exchanged uneasy glances. Brooke whispered, "This is getting out of hand." But no one stopped Brandon. His pride was bleeding. He needed to win something back, even if it meant crushing a child. The billionaire pushed his chips forward. $5,000. You win, you keep it. You lose, you walk away and remember your place. Marcus froze. That was more money than he made in months. "We can't." "I'll play," Jamal interrupted. His voice was steady, his eyes unblinking. "But if I win, you apologize to my father." Brandon's smirk faltered. "Excuse me?" "You called him to help 3 times tonight," Jamal said. "You looked at him like he was invisible. If I win, you'll look him in the eye and say you were wrong." The silence that followed was sharp enough to cut glass. Brandon leaned back, studying the boy. "You've got guts." Fine. Deal the cards. Marcus clenched his fists. Son, listen. But the cards were already flying across the table. Brandon's arrogance met Jamal's poise. Youth against ego. The first few hands went back and forth. Chips rising, falling, tension mounting. Then came the hand. The room went still. Brandon smiled like a predator. All in, he said softly. Jamal didn't blink. Call. Marcus whispered prayer. The flop turned. 1 card. 2. 3. Brandon's smile started to fade. He looked up and saw that same calm expression on the boy's face. The same quiet confidence that had undone every man in the room. This wasn't luck anymore. It was justice. Brandon's smirk cracked as the dealer revealed the next card. His knuckles whitened around his whiskey glass. Show them, kid, he said, his voice low but trembling. Jamal flipped his cards. Ace and 10. The table erupted. He had a full house. Gasps filled the air. Brandon's jaw tightened. He flipped his own cards, king and queen. A strong hand, but not strong enough. The dealer's calm voice sliced through the silence. Full house. Player wins. The mountain of chips shifted toward Jamal. Brandon's face went pale. He'd just lost. Again, this time in front of his entire elite circle. Brooke set her glass down gently. Well, looks like the boys got game. Jamal stayed silent. He wasn't gloating. He wasn't smiling. He just stacked his chips neatly and said, Mr. Sterling, you owe my father an apology. Brandon laughed nervously, eyes darting around the room. You really think you beat me, kid? This was luck. Dumb luck. Marcus stepped forward. Enough, sir. You promise. Brandon rose from his seat, towering over them. Promise what? To entertain a boy with a calculator? I gave you both an experience you'll never forget. Jamal met his eyes. You're right about that. The boy's calm tone hit harder than any insult. Brandon's cheeks flushed red. His power, the thing he worshipped, meant nothing here. Marcus placed a steady hand on his son's shoulder. We're done here. As they turned to leave, Brandon snapped. You think this means anything? You'll still be driving for people like me tomorrow. Jamal paused at the door. Maybe, but you'll still be afraid of people like me tomorrow. The room went still. No one dared breathe. Brandon slammed his fist on the table, chips scattering across the floor. Get out, he shouted. Both of you. Marcus nodded. Gladly. As they walked toward the exit, the billionaire's voice cracked behind them. You're fired, Marcus. Don't come back. Marcus didn't even slow down. He held the door open for his son and said softly, I wasn't planning to. Outside, the cool night air felt like freedom. The mansion's glow faded behind them, swallowed by darkness. Marcus looked at Jamal and whispered, You just taught that man a lesson I never could. Jamal smiled faintly. I didn't teach him, Dad. I reminded him. Reminded him of what? That money doesn't make you smarter. Or better. Marcus exhaled, a quiet laugh breaking through his disbelief. You're something else, son. The Mercedes rolled quietly through the sleeping streets of Los Angeles. For the first time in years, Marcus wasn't driving someone else. He was driving himself home. His tie hung loose, his chest tight with pride and fear. Jamal sat beside him, clutching the envelope of winnings. Neither spoke for a while. Finally, Marcus said, You know you just embarrassed one of the richest men in the city. Jamal's voice was calm. I didn't mean to embarrass him. I just didn't want him to embarrass us. Marcus smiled faintly. You've got your mother's courage. At a red light, Jamal looked out the window. Dad, he fired you. What are we going to do now? Marcus exhaled. We'll figure out. You showed the world tonight that being underestimated is our greatest weapon. The next morning, Marcus's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Missed calls, messages, dozens of them. A video had been recorded during the poker game. Brandon's meltdown, Jamal's quiet composure, the final winning hand. It had gone viral overnight among the city's elite. Dad, Jamal said, eyes wide, people are talking about us. Marcus scrolled to messages, job offers, interviews, scholarships. A tech CEO wrote, If you're ever looking for a driver, call me. And your son, he's brilliant. Another message came from an academic foundation, offering Jamal a place in a gifted program. Marcus laughed in disbelief. Guess you just beat more than cards, son. Later that evening, the phone rang again. Marcus hesitated when he saw the name, Brandon Sterling. He answered, Mr. Sterling. The voice on the other end was different, soft, uncertain. Marcus, I owe you an apology. Marcus said nothing. I was wrong, Brandon continued quietly. I treated you and your son like props. You didn't just beat me, you exposed me. My daughter saw the video. She asked why that boy was smarter and kinder than her father. I didn't have an answer. For a long moment, neither man spoke. Then Marcus said, apology accepted. Brandon sighed. I offered you humiliation. You gave me a mirror. I'm grateful, even if it hurts. Marcus looked at Jamal across the room, smiling at the news on TV. We all learn lessons differently, sir. Some of us just take longer. Brandon whispered, Good night, Marcus, and the line went dead. The following morning felt like a new world. The sun cut through the blinds of their small apartment, landing on Jamal's stack of books and the thick envelope of poker winnings on the kitchen table. For the first time in a long while, Marcus brewed his coffee without rushing. Dad, Jamal said half asleep, rubbing his eyes, Are we really okay? Marcus smiled. We're more than okay. You showed the world what dignity looks like. That afternoon, a black sedan pulled up outside their building. Out stepped Richard Chun, a tech CEO who'd watched the viral clip. He shook Marcus's hand firmly. You're the kind of man I want driving for my company. Respectful, loyal, intelligent. And your son, he's a phenomenon. Marcus tried to hide his shock. Sir, that's generous. Not generous, Richard said. Deserved. He handed over a letter. Better pay, benefits, weekends off. Later that week, Jamal was accepted into an advanced learning institute on full scholarship. When the principal read his application, she said, We don't usually get poker champions, but we love problem solvers. Jamal grinned. I just like figuring out people. A few days later, a check arrived in the mail, an anonymous donation to the same school. Marcus didn't need to ask who sent it. Somewhere in his mansion, Brandon Sterling was doing what real men do after losing, owning his mistake. That evening, Marcus and Jamal stood on the small balcony overlooking the city lights. You know, son, Marcus said softly, sometimes life won't let us choose the table we sit at, but how we play the hand, that's on us. Jamal nodded. Then I guess we played ours right. Marcus smiled. We did. The night breeze carried faint city sounds, cars, laughter, a saxophone echoing from a downtown bar. It felt like peace, earned and honest. Jamal looked at his father. You think Mr. Sterling really learned something? Marcus shrugged. Maybe not. But what matters is we did. They clinked their mugs of cocoa together like a silent toast. If you believe this should never happen again, share this now. And to my USA, UK, and Canadian viewers, your voice is power. Use it. The camera would fade out there on a father, a son, and a quiet victory that no money could ever buy.